10 people jump one person in Chicago. I remember a time when I quit cooking for a while, because that's mainly what my career has been around, like since the time I was like 18, 19, has been cooking. I quit for a little bit, I ended up getting hurt a little bit. So I decided to become a taxi driver. I drove all the way through Chicago, north, south, east, west, south side, north side, wherever. I came to this neighborhood. In the corner of it, I was the only white person in it, but basically I was in the corner. And I just right around when I came up to this one corner, 10 people came, and I immediately saw them jump this one person. And it was brutal, and they had kicked their head up against the wall. There was blood there. It was horrible, man. I was just ready to get out of that neighborhood because I was right there. And it just makes me think now, wow, that's kind of like what life will do to us. It'll like jump us. It'll like gang jump us hard. And some of us really get beat down more than others. And that's the truth. Like, yes, people do get beat down in this life, but others honestly do get beat down harder. I'm starting to see that there is a reason for this. That God uses these types of people that know what it's really like to be beat down in life. Like you're being beat down and jumped by a gang or whatever. And He will use people like this as a testimony to fulfill what He wants for His glory, you know? The thing about that is, when I was seeing that, it reminded me of something, that no matter how hard we get beat down in this life, that the last thing the enemy wants is for us to come out with a powerful testimony that can fulfill God's purpose of what He wants for His kingdom and what He wants for that individual. It's like a saying that it's just like they came out like a diamond out of the ashes, like gold out of the ashes, and God brought them through that hell, that horror, whatever it was. And people like this become prophets, pastors, everything. And I do believe this, because if you hear some pastors and preachers' story, they went through hell growing up, and they had to grow up faster, bad things or something had to end up happening to them. And now I see it as God using these people to really fulfill His glory and purposes. Even people of the Old Testament. You look at the Old Testament, Job, Noah, Moses, whoever, to fulfill His purpose, to become prophets, teachers, pastors, whatever. And it's just like He birthed them out of the ashes into something beautiful to give to someone else, because they had to come and go through that to fulfill His glory, not only for themselves, but to give someone else, specifically someone else, a testimony, so that's something that they relate to. But reminding that's just what life do. Life can gang up on us and beat us down real hard, like some worse than others, but specifically I really do believe it's for the prophets, the teachers, the pastors, whoever else, you know. And it's just like, even through the horrors and hell of that, something that didn't be meant for evil, God meant for good. So something out of that hell was birthed into something like a diamond or something that's beautiful, basically. So something beautiful came out of it, you know. So most of the time people will see stuff like that and say, oh no, that's just bad, like, that's horrible. Like, you're not seeing like the outcome of what's to come that God's going to use that for. It's just like you see the outcome of it, and later on it was meant for a purpose, for God's destiny, more than humanity's destiny, but it's God's destiny for humanity, and for someone to reach someone else as a testimony of something powerful. Like my mother, for instance, she's had a stroke, she's been in a wheelchair, she's handicapped, she had to go through 30 years of marriage, put through hell with alcoholism and mental and physical abuse in her marriage by my father. But now I believe later on she's going to birth it. This is going to be birthed into something beautiful for her testimony to give to someone else. Anything in life like that. So, especially for kingdom purposes. So whatever you're going through today, just know that God's going to birth you out into something beautiful to give to a testimony, to give to somebody else. And something good will come out of it. I for sure you that. God bless. Amen. Fire nice. Godspeed out.